Welcome to today's episode of Confessions of a Cleaning Business Owner. I'm Louise Trehearn here with Diane Greenwood, and today we're going to be talking about being undercut in my area. Now, this is familiar, I think, to both of us. So I work in a very, very, very competitive area. I know you're a little bit more out in the sticks, but I'd say there's probably in my area that I cover, which is a 3-mile radius, about 150 probably, possibly more, that undercut me on an hourly, daily, all the time. Everyone undercuts me. But what's interesting, the reason this question came about is because we're seeing people that are charging not massive amounts, 20, 25 pounds an hour, and they're going, look, I'm being undercut. And actually a big debate broke out because some people are going, well, you know, it's perfectly reasonable that a cleaner can charge £13. They're allowed to do it as a side hustle. You can earn up to £1,000 a year, not a month, £1,000 a year as a side hustle. You don't have to declare it. It's extra income for them. They're surviving off their jobs. Why shouldn't they do it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it always goes into a debate of just because they're cheap doesn't mean they're not good, and et cetera, et cetera. And then somebody will say, yeah, but they can't have insurance. And it's like, you don't know that. And then even actually on this particular Facebook thread that you're talking about that I saw recently, somebody was even saying, well, everybody in this industry's got too greedy, so I don't blame them. And I'm like, whoa, that's some money issues going on right there for that person.
I'm not sure greedy people get into the cleaning industry, number one.
No,
I just don't.
absolutely not. No.
I'm not sure there's enough money. I would be, if I was going to be greedy, I'd be going into probably, what would you do? Insurance, recruitment, accountancy, investment. I'd be following the money. In property investment, Diane, would you go there?
Yeah, absolutely, maybe. But that for me is always, that's somebody's mindset issues around money, and we don't want to unpick that on a podcast particularly. But yeah, it's happened all along though, and I actually commented on that post and going, I've been in this industry 17 years, and I started out charging £15 an hour 17 years ago, way back in 2008, and there were people charging £7 an hour. It's always been like that for me. It's never changed. And really, it's about what kind of business you want to build and whether you're going to be resilient, whether it's going to be a long-term thing, or like you say, whether it is a side hustle, and there's nothing wrong with that, or whether actually it's just that they don't yet have the confidence to charge more, and that will either come with time or they'll maybe give up in anyway, won't they?
So I think it's an interesting one, this side hustle idea. And I know there's a big promotion of side hustles all over social media and a lot of drop shipping and goodness knows what. And it was interesting when we presented at, what was it called? The show. The
Clean and Tidy Home Show.
Yes, it escaped me there.
Hi, Penny.
Yes, brilliant. Go to the Clean and Tidy Home Show. It's really good. But I was talking to a lot of people there and I said, you know, are you a professional cleaner? And they're like, well, no, I do some cleaning for friends or I do some cleaning for family. And my next question was, well, do they pay you? And the answer was always yes, but not much. Well, at that point, you are a professional cleaner. If you're getting paid for it, that is literally the definition of professional. Are you good at it? I don't know. Are you insured? I have no idea. But if you're being paid for it, then all the things that apply to professional cleaners then apply to you, or the health and safety. At the moment you take money for it, you are a professional cleaner.
Yeah. And also I think that those of us that have been in the industry a long time and those of us that are building businesses, I think we have to kind of accept that this is how people often get into the industry. I certainly know my first experiences of cleaning as getting paid for it was when my son was little, and it was a side hustle. It was a way to earn extra cash. And I definitely probably didn't charge enough. If I look back, or this is a long look, this is way before I started my business. That's sometimes how people get into the industry. And there's nothing wrong with that because it can be a way of earning some money, can't it?
Yeah, and I'm always torn with these because obviously I have my perspective and I have to represent, you know, as part of the DCPM, we want best practice, we want everyone insured and safe, and I have to represent my business as well. But actually, I don't really have a massive problem with someone doing a bit of cleaning on the side. Even from my own business point of view, they're going to undercut me, and I totally understand that. But the difference from a customer's perspective of someone doing, you know, an extra 2 or 3 hours on top of their full-time job, earning a bit of cash in hand, if they're good at it, they're going to get recommended all over the place. customers will exploit you left, right, and centre if you charge too little. You will be in so much demand. As soon as they're full up, then they're not really going to bother me anymore. And if they're no good, or if they're unreliable, because customers tend to want reliability and all the things that go with it, then they're not a problem to me either. So I find they're only really a problem to me. Like, I notice them for about a month and then they're gone if they're good. And if they're bad, they lurk around for a while, telling everyone they charge very little, and everyone tries them and realise, you know,
haven't we had that as well with ex-employees, shall we say, that have left and started up on their own, and maybe even taken some customers, and you know, they get full up really quickly. And if they're undercutting, and you know, we believe that you need to charge a certain amount in order to be able to build a sustainable, profitable business. If they're undercutting to such an extent, then they'll get full up real quick, because like you said, customers will definitely take advantage of that, and they'll recommend their friends, oh, she's really cheap. And if they're good at it, that'll be their business, they're sorted. Or if they're not good at it, like you say, they will be forever looking for those new customers, and not charging very much. But then I think, well, actually, I want to support them. So, you know, everything that we do in the DCBN, in my local area, if I see somebody charging, say, for instance, £15 an hour, I will reach out to them and say, you know, do you know in our area you can charge more than that? Would you like some advice and help with it?
Yeah,
rather than dissing them. Yeah.
I've tried that. I now don't reach out to them, because it quite often, I mean, you only have to look at my profile to see who I am and what I do. And I find sometimes they react with quite hostility, like, how dare you think I need help? And I'm like, okay, I'll back right off. You do not want help. You're going to do it your way. Go for it. And we'll not see you again.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, obviously we're sort of fortunate in our role with the DCBN, even though we have our cleaning businesses. And I always would, you know, I would often post publicly now on local groups and that sort of thing, and I'll go, you know, I run a local cleaning business, good luck with yours. If you need any support in growing your business, you know, take a look at the DCBN. And our members do that now as well, don't they? And kind of, so I think I would like the culture in the industry to be more supportive, but I also understand that sometimes we feel a bit threatened by the undercutting, and it's frustrating. And right now it's, you know, it's January, February time. It's like, it's not a time of year that any of us want to lose customers, because we might be losing them naturally anyway. And it's horrible to lose them to somebody that's simply going on price, isn't it? It makes us feel uncomfortable and threatened.
Yeah, you say you want the cleaning industry to be more friendly. I actually think we have a phenomenally friendly, supportive industry. And you only have to go to like I went to the Bix Awards, and you go to conferences. We are so lovely. You don't really see cleaning businesses going for each other. They generally, I've got to say, are supportive. And you know,
carpet cleaners. Sorry, carpet cleaners.
No, they do. My equipment's bigger than yours. I've been doing it longer. I know what this acronym means and you don't. And I've got a bigger PSI than you have. I don't care. But anyway, right.
Sorry, carpet cleaners.
Yeah. But generally in the domestic cleaning industry, I think they're quite supportive. But what I do notice is the people coming in and undercutting are quite defensive. And maybe it's because they are kind of, the reasons they're doing it, the reasons behind it, they're probably sort of back to the wall already to be doing this. And so you reach out for help. And I do find that sometimes I get greeted with like, don't contact me. I don't want anything to do with you. I'm not a big business like you. And I'm like, well, we all started in the same place, didn't you? You don't think I walked into a big business. I started as a one-man band on my own as well. Like, I get it. But I think generally we're lovely. And when I notice anyone that's been in here sort of 6 months, a year, they're pretty supportive, because you realise that no one's out to get you.
Yeah, and also hopefully realise as well that there isn't normally a shortage of customers. There might be a shortage of customers prepared to pay the right price, but you know, actually even that is, if you've got the marketing skills and the sales skills, then you know that can be key with that as well. So okay, so we're being undercut all the time. We accept it. It's just a matter of course. Are we not threatened by it because we literally don't sell on the price?
No, so I don't sell. I'd be terrible at selling on price. Why would I do that? I'm expensive. But that was a choice that I personally made. And I get that not everyone wants to charge the same price as me. I get that actually in our industry, we have a whole range of different levels of quality, different levels of service, different levels of price. I think we're lucky that you can enter at any area you want. I personally I've only got so much time and energy to give in a day. And so I want to be at the top end, because I know that, you know, with the right effort and with the right thinking through it, I can deliver really good quality. Do I always? It goes a bit wrong sometimes, but generally I can deliver really good quality. So I want to be paid for my time, because I believe, and maybe this is like a little bit different, not everyone's going to believe this, but I only want to grow my business to a certain limit. Like, I don't want to take over the world. I am quite happy. Like, I cover a 3-mile radius. There is a ceiling to how big I'm going to grow. Like, to grow bigger, I'd have to expand. I'd have to take on more management, more staff. I know who I am and what I want to do and where I'm happy in life, gives me a nice income, and that's what I want to do. So I kind of don't see the need to undercut everybody unless I was trying to take over the UK and really break into all markets. Then I would drop to a lower price. But I get, when you're new, you do come in at a lower price and then up it. Like, you and I would both do the same. We'd come in at a lower price, take our section of the market, go, thank you very much, then I'll up my price.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that it's interesting because one of the comments on the post about this was stay in your lane. And it wasn't actually meant in how bad that could sound. I think it was more meant in a focus on your business and what you're doing rather than worry about what others are doing. And, you know, it's interesting because for me, it starts with the marketing. So hopefully attracting clients that, you know, are prepared to pay higher prices and looking for a quality service. And, you know, we had a discussion offline, didn't we, about social media and versus Google, and most of our clients come from Google searches, very little from social media. And I believe that we get better quality clients through Google, but also we have the sales skills to convert them. And if we were only selling on price, we would literally be telling people how much it was and most of them would walk away. That's not how we sell. And we've talked about this, you know, in masterclasses and on podcasts about how we sell. If you rang me and said, I'm looking for a cleaner, how much do you charge? And I said £30 an hour, that would be the end of most conversations, wouldn't it? Because that's me just giving you the price and going, take it or leave it. I'm not having a conversation. I'm not engaging. I'm not building any rapport. So sometimes it's the sales skills that help you get over the threat from this undercutting. If we believe we've got the sales skills, we don't care as much or mind as much, and we know it doesn't affect us as much.
The other thing that I think a lot of people are not aware of is their place in the market. So when people don't want to, say, for example, raise their prices, they're not covering costs, but they don't want to raise their prices because they say my customers won't pay it. That I give them one activity and I'm like, go and find 5 quotes to get your house cleaned in your area, right? And every time they come back to me and they go, no one's got back to me, like no one will do it. And the 2 people I can get to give me quotes are double what I'm charging. And I'm like, okay, so now do you want to raise your prices £2 an hour because you've realized how hard it is to actually leave your cleaner to find a replacement cleaner? And I think we see on Facebook people are charging less than us, or you see advertised a lot of big agencies give a headline figure. It's not true, by the way. They do not charge £12 an hour. They're charging much, much more. And I think you get skewed by what you're seeing in advertising. You cannot get it. Like when you try and get it, you can't get it at those prices.
Yeah. And I think, you know, if you've got the good marketing strategies going on, is it just a case of staying the course then? Is it, you know, sort of stay in your lane? I mean, I think she meant stay the course and just be sort of focused and resilient. Is that the only answer in this whole industry for every problem that we've got, rather than just undercutting prices? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you'd be very polite. Let's interpret stay in your lane really politely. Question whether it was, but anyway. What you're saying is focus on yourself, do what you're doing right, nail what you're doing. I think for me, yeah, I think every decision should be made based on figures. But once I know what my figures are, once I know what it costs me to deliver what I'm going to deliver, then I wouldn't look so much at my competition. I think I'd be aware of it. I definitely know who my main competition was. But if they choose to undercut me, it depends. If they're undercutting me by £1 or £2 an hour, whatever, customers they pick it based on personality. If they're undercutting me by £10 an hour, they cannot deliver what we're delivering, not at £10 less per hour.
No, and when we have these pricing debates, and I remember from the Aldi versus Waitrose debate, and we still get people sort of, nipping at that a little bit, is, well, some people can't charge more because they're not actually delivering a great service. And there is some truth in that. That doesn't mean that if you're £15 an hour, you're not delivering great service. What it means is if you're going to charge £25 an hour, you have to make sure that you are delivering a quality service. Otherwise, yeah, people won't pay it.
Can I nail this? Because I think what we hear is I deliver a really good service, right? And you can be the best cleaner in the world, but I'm not competing against your quality of cleaning. You probably could clean better than us. But what you can't deliver as a solo cleaner, and I think this is where it gets a bit ambiguous, you can't guarantee to turn up every single time because you've got no cover. You aren't going to bill by direct debits and make it stress-free. When they have a little niggle with you, they've got to have the confrontation of speaking to you. Well, I take all of that away. Every problem that they have with dealing with a one-man band, I've eradicated all of it. So I think a lot of people focus on the quality of service of that clean, and you may be a lovely person, you may be totally reliable, but in general, there are things that a company that charges more will deliver, and it costs money to deliver those. And they do deliver a better service, even if the individual could outcompete any employee of that company.
I agree, actually, and I don't think we always compete on the quality of the clean, because a really dedicated, committed solo cleaner, they're working solely for themselves, their own customers, they can usually deliver a better clean. Now, I would argue some of my cleaning team could deliver better, but I don't know that consistently. But yeah, so me as a solo cleaner, I would be amazing. But the team and the management and the customer service, I can definitely deliver better around that, and that's where the price point comes in. But also, so of course, a solo cleaner, you have the advantage of not being able to charge as much because you don't have the same overhead. So I'm not dissing anybody that's charging £20 an hour, for an example, and I think solo cleaners now should be around that mark because it's flipping hard. And we have conversations, don't we, with people that are like, I'm 50 now, I'm struggling, what can I do to make this easier? And I'm like, charge more, work less. There is only one solution, isn't there? But yeah, I don't know if we're ever competing on price. I just don't think that's what our customers are buying.
No, I think there's a whole range out there. If I'm honest, I feel for the customers because they don't know what they're getting. Like if you compared, for example, a cleaner at £15 an hour, a cleaner at £24 an hour, and a cleaner at £35 an hour, what is the difference? And I know the difference, but actually, I don't think most of the two lower cleaners wouldn't actually be able to outrightly tell them the difference. And it's really amazing when people phone me and they talk to me, and they'll often ask, why are you more expensive? And I tell them and I explain it, and I'll go, you know what? You can get just as good a service from some of these people that are cheaper. And I'll be really honest about it. And they'll go, yeah, but the fact that you can tell me, you can explain it, I'd rather just deal with you. And it's really strange because I don't think customers are as price sensitive as people think.
No. And do you think and I talked about money mindset a little bit, about that person that thought it was greedy to be charging £25 an hour plus. Do you think that that's why we as an industry focus very much on what we think the customer will pay? Is it our attitude to money rather than the customers that we're projecting?
I do think so. And I think this is played out time and time again, because you see people that go, I can't raise £3 an hour. I cannot do it. I'm going from 17 to 20. I'm going from 20 to 23. I can't do it. People won't pay it. Then they do it, and then people pay it. And a lot of the anxiety, and there's a lot of anxiety around putting that prices up, it comes from that person, not from what any of the customers are doing. So I think a lot of us get into the industry because we care about people. It's a very caring, giving industry. We want to improve their lives. We want to improve their home situation. And we are so underprepared to have a conversation about money.
Yeah, definitely. And also, do you think we're underprepared to understand what a business means, whether it's a solo cleaner or with a team, and what we actually have to charge to make a profit? Do you think people just don't realise everything that goes into that £25 an hour plus?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, and I think it's really interesting when people start to have a team, whether it's self-employed or employed, and you start to have a team, and then you go, gosh, I want them to be paid £20 an hour, so I'm just going to charge 20. And you're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. But ultimately, as a business owner, they don't see all the extra work, and you realize actually there are times when you are losing money on that. But they got into it because they wanted their team to have a different experience to their one because they maybe had a negative one in the past. And I think we all start with the best of intentions, and it just bites you in the bum in the end. And you're just like, I've got to change something here. What am I going to do? I think a lot of us just don't understand what we're getting into.
No. And I know I made a video a couple of years ago now, actually, as part of my business coaching about how to figure out what to price and looking at all the costs. And part of that was questioning, do you base your price on your competitors? Do you base your price on what you think customers will pay? Or do you base your price on how much profit you need to make in order to make this worthwhile? And obviously my argument was the latter. But I just made a quick video about what costs people need to put in place. And I think I might re-record it actually in the near future. But that's, for me, that's when I started my business, that's why I charge £15 an hour, because that was exactly the process I went through. And I didn't actually ever get any kickback on that price, even though if you think that's 17 years ago now, that's quite high. It didn't, because I just saw it as a practical thing. I didn't have the issues around the price, I don't think. I was maybe very naive and didn't really know what I was doing. I was making it up as I went along. But I knew that that's how much I needed to charge in order to make it worthwhile doing it. And that's probably what I projected, that this is the price and this is normal, and didn't have that, yeah, that baggage around it, I suppose.
I think I've talked about this before, but I set my prices, and obviously we've talked about beekeeping. I've dropped it in before. My attitude is, right, find out what it costs you to produce. So find a unit price, find out what it costs you to give cleaning or to produce a jar of honey or whatever. Then what I do, so I know you say base it on the cost. I would then do a survey, and we're very lucky to have a lot of Facebook groups. I want to know what all my competitors are charging. So I want a survey. I want the range, okay? And I look at that range and I go, right, what's the top end of that range? I will go slightly higher. And that is as long as we've also covered the baseline, but I would expect my competitors have also know the baseline and are already charging a profit in there. And I want to go higher. And the reason for that is, what are they delivering that I am not yet delivering? I need to know. I'm going to price to deliver whatever it is that they can do. I will do it better. I will find out what they're doing and I want to do it better. So I'm not going to price myself in the middle of the pack. Who wants to compete with everyone under the sun? I want to compete with the top end, and whatever they're doing, there's nothing I believe that someone is doing that I can't. Maybe I haven't invested in the right equipment yet. Maybe I haven't got the right system yet. But if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. And maybe that was probably key for me as well, that confidence, and I was on a little bit of a mission because I knew that I could bring my business skills to an industry, and I wanted to really sort of revolutionize it a little bit. Even back then I was, probably the DCBM was probably in my mind already then, was I did want to be more professional and be delivering a fantastic service and have a business that people were proud to work for, that I was proud to own. So all that was part of me right from the start. So maybe that's why I could sell at £15 an hour such a long time ago, was because I knew that that's what I was going to deliver, and had that confidence that whatever gaps were there, I would fill them pretty quickly.
But do you know why I think it's brilliant that there's a whole range of prices? Because I might get a phone call, and I get a few inquiries like this, and it'll be a little old person in a one-bedroom flat. Now, my minimum is 2 hours. They do not need 2 hours. What they need is someone to go in weekly. It's half an hour to an hour every week, and they want that one-on-one personal connection. Now, they will be prepared to pay for that, but I've got to say, when I get inquiries like that, I will tell them what I can deliver, but I'm like, look, I am massively overcharging you for this. If you are desperate, if you need a one-off clean to catch you up, then yes, we'll do it. But can I be really honest? We are not the right company for you. And so I love that there is a range out there, because there are people that I would feel guilty if I charged them £70 a visit for they need 1 hour once a week. I just think there is a little bit immoral about that. And so I tend to say to them, don't go with me. I would go and look on Facebook and find that one-on-one person.
Yeah, and I've often said to clients over the years, you know, if you can find that absolute gem of a cleaning person that's going to deliver exactly what you want, then hire them, you know, or send them to me and I'll hire them because I've got a few gems in my team as well, you know. So you can have that conversation with clients and be honest, can't you? And just say, yeah, if that's what you're looking for, we're not the cleaning service for you. Not every client is the right client for us, and I accept that.
And I like that there's a range. And I think that actually, if you are going to go out there and you're going to start a business, I really appreciate it when there's some with availability, because I do say no to quite a few clients. And there are some, especially if it's like an end of tenancy. I'll tell you about an inquiry I got this week. It was, I'm a landlord and I need an end of tenancy. The tenants have moved out. But just to set expectations, the heating went. And when we went round, the thermostat is in the kitchen and it was completely clogged up with grease. And that's why it was broken. What I need from you, Louise, is the entire kitchen needs degreasing. And they've been burning joss sticks in every room in the house as well. So I need every wall wiping down. And I was like, I've got about 10 hours free on Wednesday and 12 hours on Friday. This is not going to work out. How soon do you need it? And he was like, I need it on Monday or Tuesday next week. And I was just like, it's not worth the aggro of me trying to deliver this. If I was short of work, I would love it if there was a business nearby, a one-man band who, I mean, this was a 30-hour clean. Take it. Please take it off my hands. I don't want it. My staff don't like those cleans. We're not set up to do them. I can, but why bother?
Yeah, I agree. And you know, with my letting agency, I've outsourced work to quite a lot of other local cleaners in our area. And it's great to have that as an option because, you know, my cleaning business just thrives on regular business. It doesn't necessarily thrive on those one-offs, and we turn them away all the time. So if you're in my local area, feel free to get in touch because we're always turning those sort of jobs away, definitely. And yeah, you're right. Sometimes clients just aren't the right fit, and it's okay.
I'll tell you another one that we turn away quite a lot, Airbnbs. So there's been a real uptake in my area of people renting out Airbnbs. And also,
Did you know Manchester is the second most popular short-term accommodation place outside London?
and it's really high around me because we've got Old Trafford. So you've got all the football fans. The number of people who want to come and stay at my house. There's a game on, is there? There's a game. Or at least I've got a heads up not to go in any traffic at that time. But it doesn't shock me. So we get inquiries all the time. And we've also got near us camper vans. So there's a camper van, what do they call, hiring place. It's really strange because I'll tell them the prices. They're okay with the prices, a bit high, but they're prepared to pay it. And then I'm like, right. And I'll only do it Monday to Friday. And you've got to give me at least 4 days notice and blah, blah. And they're like, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. I'm like, well, you want us, you've got to, because the thing is, if I was to run and operate an Airbnb business, it would be like a second way of running a business. Like I can't operate two different business with two different sets of parameters. It would be a nightmare.
Yeah, no, I have turned so much, we call it Airbnb work over the years because it's just not, it just doesn't fit with our business model. We work Tuesday to Friday. That's it, school hours. And we do a little bit of commercial outside hours, but not very much. And we don't take on any new. We only, even if we take on commercial now, it's in Tuesday to Friday, school hours. So yeah, we've just never been interested in it. And I've been kidded on a few times over the years. Oh, well, we're going to have lots for you to do and it'll be worthwhile. You're developing that side of the business. And I'm just like, no, not interested. And it's just not. I know that we've got members that have specialized in this, and that's the key. It doesn't mix well, I don't think, with a school hours Tuesday to Friday domestic cleaning business. It just doesn't, because it's a weekend job. It's a last minute thing, and we thrive on regular customers, you know, last minute calls from, we don't even work with letting agents because we're just not interested in getting a call on a Friday for a clean that needs to be done on a Saturday. It's just not our core business. That's not the business model that I wanted to build. But doesn't mean there aren't opportunities in that to do that, but it's not something that I would want to pursue.
And if you're a small business or even a one-man band, it's a side hustle. You're prepared to do that flexibility. You can make decent money. You know, you're comfortably making your £30 an hour. If you want to work on a Saturday at short notice, you're going to make your £30 an hour. Brilliant. Like, fantastic. Go do it. Go take it. Go clean up that money because you know, you could work just the antisocial hours or just the short notice hours and make far more than someone that's like, well, I can only really charge £20 an hour or £18 an hour doing this. I love that there's a range and there's a place for everybody. But this is why I don't worry about being undercut. Because if I'm already turning work down and there's people that are cheaper than me, well, good, go take that work. Like, brilliant. I'll pass it to you. I'll give you the lead. Because I've learned that as soon as I start deviating from what I do, my stress levels go through the roof. I can't deal with it. I know what I'm good at.
Do you ever worry about it though? Like, on those sleepless nights and think, oh, we haven't had that many leads this week, or, oh, that last call that I made, I didn't convert them. I wonder why that was. Do you ever get a little bit of a confidence, not crisis, but a little bit of a dip?
Yeah, and I think the smaller your business is, if you aren't getting inquiries in, what you're thinking is, I'm not going to have work for those staff. And we've had this, we're in January now, since coming back from Christmas, we took on a load of staff before Christmas. We had loads of inquiries, not inquiries, loads of jobs. And then after Christmas, the demand for the pre-Christmas cleans tailed off, but nobody wants to leave my company. So I actually found a really good person the week before Christmas, and I couldn't offer them the job because I literally didn't have enough work for them. And I spoke to them as we came back in January, and I said, look, I want you, but I can't offer it to you for probably 3 or 4 weeks. And then we've had unbelievable sickness, and we've had everything, like we've had the snow, everything was clogged up. We had to cancel loads of cleans, which means we had to push them on. Our demand has now gone through the roof, despite very few new clients. And I've had to offer her the job sooner because, and so in some ways, yes, I do worry about it. And I definitely felt it in the beginning of January going, I can't take someone on. We've not got the inquiries coming in. And then things happen and you go, well, let's just roll with it at that point then. And it could be that in the first week of February, we don't have enough work for our staff. But what I'm doing now, because we're in mid-January, is going, right, let's hammer the marketing. We will have it because we know that's coming. And I guess that's the business owner's job. We are seeing the trends. We've got to react fast, but we also have to predict what's coming. So do I worry about it? No, because that's a waste of my energy. But have I got an eye on it? Yes.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that I suppose we have an advantage in that we have so many years experience, and we've seen these ebbs and flows of either we can't recruit or we're not bringing on enough clients. And it always balances. I just see it as a seesaw that my job is to try and keep it balanced. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not. And I don't lose sleep over it, but I go, oh, actually, I need to push on the other end a little bit. So it's just noticing it, isn't it? And tracking it. Is there an element here of just hold your nerve? The industry has always been like this.
Yeah, I think resilience. Look, I could do nothing, and by the end of February, it'd be all completely equal. Like I could literally do no marketing, no recruitment, and it would all be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to ride the wave. You can't stop it. You can't change it. You can maybe make it slightly easier for yourself, but you're going to be riding the wave anyway.
So is it just a case of just get used to being undercut? It's how the industry is. And actually, it's probably how most industries are. There'll always be somebody that's charging Aldi prices and always somebody that's charging Waitrose prices. And, you decide where you want to be in that.
Yeah, well, I had this recently. I was getting a van logoed up and I got quotes. It was quite an expensive design, by the way. So I got a quote and I got 1,300 as a quote and I got 650 and 700. I went out and got 5 quotes. And I went for the 1,300 one, which is twice what I'd been quoted because I trusted they could deliver. I didn't want the cheap end because my concern was if I'd gone for that and they worked from home, there was no accountability. I needed it done properly because I've seen people that have got vans logoed up and 2 months later it's peeling off. I need to know that when it's done, one, it's done well properly first time. I want that. But accidents happen to any business. I want to know when that happens, you are accountable and you're going to fix my problem. And I paid twice, like 1,300 is a lot more than 650. And so I think customers do all of this. So as business owners, don't tell people you're cheap because actually it goes against you sometimes.
Yeah, I think, it's obviously you need to deliver a good service. You need to be good at the actual cleaning bit. You need to be good at customer service. You need to be efficient when it comes to answering phone calls and responding to emails. You need to be running a good business. But ultimately, the customers aren't buying on price, I don't think.
No, despite that being the question they ask first, because that's the only way they know to compare you. So we get a skewed opinion. That's all they care about. That is absolutely not true. So despite that being what they ask first, don't think that's all they care about. Tell them what they should care about and they will care about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love that. It's a nice positive way of looking at it.
Thank you, Diane. Lovely to chat to you, and I'll see you next week.